And we are live. I am here. My name is John Crump. I am the host of this little show called Fireside Chat. So we are supposed to have Rachel Malone on from GOA, one of my counterparts from Texas, but looks like she's not going to be on. So I grabbed the next best thing, Matt Desk Cowboy. But before we get to Matt Desk Cowboy, you can always support the channel through several different ways at patreon.com/John Crump, or you can do like really cool stuff like support Defender Coffee, which is an awesome company out there. Or you can do stuff, for example, go to paypal.me/JohnCC, and you can do like a one-time donation there. It's kind of like a super chat, but a little bit different. I'm trying to get some bugs worked out of the new studio, so if I don't look right or anything, just let me know so I can get that all worked out. But yeah, let's jump into it here. I am joined by Matt Dust Cowboy. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing pretty well, John. How about yourself?
Good. Thank you for coming on at such late notice. How's college going?
It's going slowly. I'm happy I took an easy semester for my first semesters, just getting the routine and everything. Uh, I think I told you I'm going to go for electrical engineering. I should be able to get something coming right out of college on that.
Yeah, that's really good. Electrical engineering is a good field. Um, so did you hear what Biden said tonight? Let's just jump right into the first topic that I have.
See, Biden, he's been saying a lot of things. No, I saw something that Bloomberg said tonight. I didn't see what Biden said. So what
Yeah,
did Biden say?
we can jump into Bloomberg. They're talking about gun violence, and Biden said that 150 million Americans have lost their life since 2007 due to gun violence.
Okay, so he's senile now.
Basically, I think I think he was always senile, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, he definitely has shown the unfortunate side effects of getting old.
Yeah, it really does suck getting old, especially when you're Biden. So what did you see Bloomberg say?
If I remember correctly, he let it slip that he bought 42 or 32 seats that got Diana the head position, Speaker of the House.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, he did
So,
say that. But that's what he does. He
yeah,
buys
but
votes.
to say on a national scale, I mean, it's one thing if it's rumored back or you heard it through the grapevine. Hey, yeah, he's buying seats, but come out and actually say, hey, I bought this lady her position. That's not good at all.
Well, that's what Bloomberg does, man. He buys seats. But yeah, I mean, he is a gun grabber. Everyone up on that stage are gun grabbers. It was very interesting to see everything that, for example, um, Bernie was going through. They jumped on him because his. Am I frozen up here? Oh, never mind. They jumped on him because his defense of Castro. It looks like the Dems might be worried that it's going to cost them the election because people in Florida really don't like Castro.
Yeah, especially since the majority of them of the Republican voters down there are the Cubans that left Castro, and so I don't. I'm trying to really figure out why the Democrats think they have a chance of beating Trump. I mean, Trump has one of the highest for in the Republican Party had one of the highest approval ratings ever. A lot of the middle line, the people sitting on the fence, they're going Trump just because the economy is done so well. It's just their fear tactic is not working, and it's showing very, very much so. I, I'm not going to put any predictions on the presidential run, but the only person that could stand a chance maybe might be Pete, but it just came out earlier today. Also, he's stealing all of President Obama's speeches, or former President Obama's speeches. Did you see that one yet?
No, I have not seen that.
Yeah, there was a clip, Pete and on one side of the screen and President Obama on the other side, and word for word, they're saying the exact same thing about 6 or 7 different speeches.
Interesting. Interesting. I wanted to get it out there. Oh, by the way, John Voorhees says there are up to 19 sanctuary, 2A sanctuary counties in Ohio so far.
That's awesome, John. I know you've been talking to your councilmen or men last month and repeatedly. I don't have my computer set up, so I can't see anybody's comments. So, John B, how's it going in your county? Are you a 2A sanctuary yet as well?
Well, that's
Also, now, speaking of 2A sanctuary, sanctuarycounty.com, I think it is. They've been doing a lot of work. People are actually finding the sites and they're sending them the information. Wikipedia is actually using them as a site to update the Second Amendment sanctuary counties on their page. Just want to give a shout out to those guys. I was talking to him last night.
Yeah, Gary Ramey is out there. Gary Ramey is the owner and president of Honor Defense, and he just threw up the crime statistics out there. So that is cool. But let's get back to talking about like some 2A stuff. One of the cool things that we are doing over at GOA is we're doing FBI data for Joe Biden. I got to tweet that at him. One of the things that we are doing over GOA is we have given Maj Toure, Black Guns Matter, a $25,000 grant to do some of his work. We're going to be hitting different cities, and this is only the beginning. I also see Todd out there. Hey, Todd, what's up? At the beginning of a tour, we're going to be doing stuff from here in Richmond. They're going to be doing Birmingham. What?
Gonna come down here, right? Roanoke City?
Eventually, yeah. But we're going to be doing Birmingham, Memphis. We're also going to be doing Baltimore, Richmond, and St. Louis, and a bunch of other cities. So it should be pretty damn cool. And I think it's good. It's good to reach out to people that have been neglected for so long by the 2A movement.
Yeah, it's Roanoke City. They're starting their Roanoke Gun Violence Task Force Part 2. Last year, they brought 22 different points up to the city council, and now they're going to. They actually had a meeting this past Monday, and here we go again.
So Todd saying in Nebraska, their 2A rally was standing room only, which is awesome to hear. I love hearing stuff like that. Trying to figure out the best place for my mic, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just put it back where it usually is. But that is awesome. Congratulations, Todd. Keep up the good work out in Nebraska and everywhere, man. 2A rallies are going on everywhere. In fact, this Saturday, I will be speaking at the Fauquier 2A rally.
You'll be speaking at which 2A rally? The one in Fairfax, is it?
Fauquier County.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Utah actually had a big 2A rally as well recently. The 2A rally seems to be like the new hotness going on. There's 2A rallies everywhere. Arizona had one. There was one in Washington. There was one in Ohio, I believe. it's really cool to see all the 2A rallies going on here, and hopefully we can keep it up.
Yeah, that there are a lot of people just do or been doing the 2A rallies. I just want to remind people it's just not the rally; it's also what happens beyond that. I mean, it's awesome. It really is that everyone's getting together to support our Second Amendment rights. Don't forget, we need to reinforce that as well. Just like GOA is or doing with Todd or mods, um, talking, communicating, to or reach across, try and get more people into the rallies. Uh, it's really about that's what it is, a two-way community.
Yeah, it really is. It's about getting out there and engaging with people and getting the 2A communities up and running and getting people out there to engage their officials. You can always find your elected officials online. Just Google "find my representatives" and you can actually had it. And oh wow, Todd, we just got our second. That's awesome, man. I really wish that we had a two that my county was a 2A sanctuary, but that is not going to happen. Doesn't mean we're not going to start fighting, because we are going to keep on fighting. Yeah. So,
It's,
yep.
I don't live in a county, but I live in a city, Roanoke City, and they are definitely not two-way sanctuary. Matter of fact, it seems like not just the city, but my delegate, Sam Razul, they're just right there with Northam on his anti-gun or his gun control push. It's really getting frustrating because I'm trying to reach out, sit down, talk to these people, and like Sam, I've been trying to get a hold of him probably since October, November, somewhere, and nothing. I've even been to his office here in town. He's never there when I'm showing up. It gets frustrating when I'm trying to reach out to my delegate, my representatives, and they won't talk to me at all.
Yeah, that sucks. A couple more. Let's get back into the Democrats and some of their crazy ideas. Do you want to go with Pete Buttigieg first, or a madman Bernie Sanders?
Uh, let's go with option number one.
Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Mayor Pete wants to have universal background checks on ammo.
On ammo. All right,
Mm-hmm.
so that's if I were, or I'm surprised he just doesn't do it as a per ammo box. So if I want to go get a box of ammo, 9 mil, I need to do a background check, and assuming that background check is the same where you have to wait 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, it could be. Also, it's the same. Also, another one of his plans is called red flag laws, of course, and ban assault weapons and high capacity magazines, which are really standard capacity magazines. But he also wants the Disarm Hate Act, which means if you're a member of a hate group, which I'm not a member of a hate group, I really don't like hate groups, but that would automatically forfeit your gun rights, which I can't really get behind, because you have a right under the Constitution to be an idiot and to be in a hate group.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
well, the part that scares me about that is, well, if they can literally declare any group a hate group. I mean, like PETA, they're aggressive against everybody else. They could be declared a hate group. I mean, they love animals, and that's what their cause is. But they're so aggressive sometimes when they attack people. That's a hate group, in my opinion, or could be. So
Yeah.
what?
Um,
But
Also, he wants get this. This is this is not cool, but this is another one of his ideas, so to speak. He wants basically what does he want? He wants like a national gun licensing.
that like a driver's license thing he's talking about, or
Yeah, guns. Can't have that either.
uh, I mean, it's just baffles me. Have these people even read the Constitution?
I doubt it. I mean, they hate it. So if they haven't read it, they hate it at least.
Obviously, and so it frustrates me because you get people like the Mayor Pete, and he's talking about all this stuff, and he obviously hasn't read the Constitution, or he's got such a twisted um, view of what the Constitution would be. I really can't understand how people can get the words so twisted. And hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pass it. All right, yeah, you might get it passed, maybe, but as soon as it comes out, it's going to go right to the courts, and we're going to get declared unconstitutional.
Yeah.
So it's all just a big talking point.
Yeah.
And I think that's
He wants to also close what he calls the Charleston loophole, which basically would allow the FBI infinite amount of time to, in the states, infinite amount of time to run background checks.
no.
So you can be delayed for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So
No, don't states already do that? Like New York, there's supposedly people been waiting for the licensing for X amount of time.
But for buying a gun, the background check to run and buying a gun. Right now, they have 3 days to complete the background check. That's of but now this would basically allow states and everyone else to just not ever complete the background check.
Well, I can definitely tell you which states those would be that would have a very long list of background checks that would never get cleared. New York, California.
Yep. So that's his plans. He also wants to resume federal funding for gun research to the CDC. I'm not even sure why the CDC would even research guns. It's more of an FBI thing, which they already do. If you talking to Dr. Faria, he was talking about when he was at the CDC when they were doing research, it was all bias research. They had predetermined notions, and that's the reason why they passed a law banning them from doing research, because they had a predetermined outcome that they wanted to reach.
And if I remember correctly, 2007, didn't Obama have CDC do a study on gun violence, and it turned out very much in favor of the QA community?
Yeah, but they want to have it. They want to have it. So, it turns out against the 2A community.
Yeah, so it's going to be sort of like a Bloomberg. They're going to go in there, buy the scientists out that are doing the studies, and ta-da, hey, this is our report. That contradicts everything we put out for the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, did you ever get your book, Matt? Because I was about to bring up the thing, and I was like, man, I wonder if Matt ever got his book.
No, I didn't.
All right, let me reach out. I'll see what's up with that. But this is the book everyone needs to go buy. Guns, America, Guns, and Freedom. It talks about, it's by Dr. Miguel Farre, which is a friend of the show, and it talks about different things, including what happened at the CDC. And I see Matt's trying to steal my background, the brick background, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, this one's an actual brick, though.
No, whatever.
And ignore this right here. We just did a rearranging of the TV. It was hanging on the fireplace, but we moved it to the other side of the room. I'm not sure if you like it or not.
Gotcha. So yeah, so that's Mayor Pete's plan for defending gun violence. Bernie has some plans too.
Yeah, what's Bernie Sanders, the communist, wanting to push this time?
All right. He wants to expand background checks.
I mean,
I
what are they going to start doing? Making sure I change my underwear every morning?
don't,
How far do I think I gotta go?
apparently, probably. And also push universal background checks, which he calls the gun show loophole, which we know is not really. Actually, I saw a study that only 0.8% of guns used in crimes come from private sales at gun shows.
And if I remember correctly, the majority of the guns used in crimes are stolen from vehicles. But
Yes.
they want us to fire guns into vehicles to go into the gun safety zone. It's then we have to report it within 24 hours. It's just it's aggravating. All right, so you're admitting that guns used in crime are stolen from vehicles, but you want me to come in to talk to my legislators, so I have to put my firearm in the vehicle. Of course, I have a lockbox, but you're putting me in a position where I am going to contribute to crime. Why? The safer and the safer place for it is in a holster on your side. That's
Yep.
my opinion.
Yep. And the next thing he wants to do is ban the sale of assault weapons again. And
And
he
that's
states
somebody.
assault weapons are designed and sold as tools of war. There is absolutely no reason why these firearms should be sold to civilians, which I would disagree with, and you would disagree with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, an axe is a tool of war, but there's plenty of those. I mean,
Yeah, and plus, no one really uses it. Here we go. They want to prohibit standard capacity. She incorrectly calls high capacity magazines once again. Any magazine holding more than 10 rounds. He wants to have a gun buyback, but they never really owned it. So how can you buy something back that you've never owned?
yeah, I actually sort of like those gun buybacks because the guns that do make it in there are complete utter trash, and B, before they get to the gun bag zone, there's always someone right outside, a block down the street or on the sidewalk, willing to give you more money for that firearm.
Yep. And he wants AR-15s and AKs to be added to the NFA.
Yeah, and what or how is he going to define a AR-15? A semi-automatic rifle that holds a magazine?
Yeah, semi-automatic rifles that have one or more of these cosmetic features. So basically, it would be $200 per AR-15, which means I would be paying around $200,000.
Well, John, I always tell you if you never or run out of room, I got some room here for the hold some for you.
Yeah. Red flag laws, of course. Of course, they all want red flag laws. That's like the new hotness. They probably
It
don't
is.
know what extreme risk protection order is. They just think it's something spout out. Red flag laws not only violates the Second Amendment, it also violates the due process clause of the Constitution.
Yeah, it violates many parts of it. For warrantless search. I mean, there's been so many different versions of the red flag laws. So they're on like what version at least 12 by now.
That depends.
Um,
Each state has their own version.
yeah,
Virginia, the version that's being proposed is better than some of the other ones. Luckily, but it's probably going to pass. But they're all bad. The one in Virginia is not as bad as, like, let's say California or New Jersey, where basically anyone can red flag you. But they're all bad. He doesn't really get into which version that he wants. I'm gonna guess that it's the most egregious one, but who knows?
yeah, that's normal to start at. I mean, look at Northern. What is it March yet? No, still February. So 4 months ago, Northern was saying we're taking all the guns, we're doing this and this and this, and we pushed back so much of that. By the time the Congress or the states started meeting, and now we've defeated or at least pushed back for another year. What was it? HB 961.
HB 961, which was the assault firearms ban.
Yes, and then if I remember right, what was it? HB 91. Is that the magazine capacity one?
No, there's the HB 961 had all the magazine stuff in it as well.
Been so many of them, I can't keep track of any of them. And then you got the Senate bill version. Didn't we, or another one, or didn't pass
the version they killed.
Huh?
HB 91 is like basically it's I don't think there's an HB 91 this year. Is there an HB? Yeah, they have to be. HB 91, if police and court records, person convicted of certain offenses gets their records expunged. So that's not what we want.
Not one then. 71. I can't remember. There's been so many of them. Wasn't there another one that went through the
five Democrats or four Democrats?
Okay.
But okay, go ahead. Sorry.
What was I going to say? Wasn't there another gun control bill that was in the Senate today, I believe it was, or yesterday, or Friday, that did not pass the committee?
No, on Friday, basically they all did.
And national popular vote didn't go through. I saw that.
No, that didn't go through. National popular vote, Virginia. I thought it did.
Yeah. I've been seeing today where it did not.
I must have failed at the full Senate.
Yeah. Yeah. It did pass it.
You're right. It failed. So good. Because that basically would take away our rights. You know, the Electoral College is set up for a reason, and it's to protect the minority from the tyranny of the majority. I don't think it's going to really matter this election anyway.
Yeah. Or what keep popping in my head, just like the state Democrats, or Virginia state Democrats, they kept complaining for at least almost 2 years straight. For the Republican or gerrymandering the district, or gerrymandering the district. Well, they won with that districting, and now they're like, oh, it's okay. So in my mind, that scenario was playing every time I heard about the national popular vote. Watch, these guys actually get this thing passed through, but then they lose by the popular vote. That would just be so ironic. But I am happy it did not pass.
Yeah, so am I. Another thing that Bernie Sanders wants to do is to ban 3D firearms. The scary 3D firearms. Ooh.
I forgot to. I think I mentioned it to you. I'm not sure. Mike Bloomberg actually has a office here in Roanoke City, and I stopped by to talk to him, or to his candidate individual. I'm actually going to stop by there again. She was very professional, even though everything she said, I of course was rebuttal, or I had a good rebuttal against, and just basically tore him apart right in front of her. And she just went to his website. She was very professional, I will give you that, but you can tell she didn't know exactly what it's standing for or why. And I think I'm gonna go back and talk to her again, see if I can't flip her or get her out of.
Yeah, Bloomberg wants to ban any gun that holds more than 3 rounds.
Yeah. And see what else? He's been going around He's been going around trying so hard to fit certain demographics. He pissed off a lot of farmers here recently too.
He told farmers that it was so easy. You could just plant crops. It's like, no, you can't. That's bullshit.
Yeah, if I remember right, the quote went somewhere, you don't need a lot of gray matter to farm or something like that. Talking about brain capacity. I'm like,
Yeah,
that that guy has not been in the tractor. I've peeked in a few of the more modernized tractors, and they got more technology than you probably got, John.
yeah, yeah. So it's freaking crazy. So that's what Bloomberg wants. Oh, besides 3D firearms, he also wants to ban uh bump stocks. But someone got to tell him they're already banned.
He wants to ban what again?
Bump stocks.
I didn't hear you.
Bump stocks.
Bump stocks. Well, yeah, maybe he knows that GOA is going to win that lawsuit, so he's trying to plan in advance.
Yeah, I hope so. I think we will. I was actually talking to Rob Olson tonight about not about that, but about different things.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about this Democratic debate. No,
Yeah,
between the Democratic debate and also um, also the I was going back and forth through the Democratic debate and the Caps game, which they won. I wanted to see Kovalchuk's first game.
you want to see what?
Kovalchuk, Elia Kovalchuk, is now a Cap.
Hold on one second, John. My headphone just died.
Okay.
You can keep talking. I'm looking for my hearing aid so I can.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is pull up the other candidates' gun proposals so you can take a look at that.
Give me just a second.
That sounds really good.
You thought what was very good?
Your sound quality right now.
Well, I just took the I got to get my hearing aid. I took the headphones off, so I can't hear now.
Okay. I got you. I got you. I'm looking for like different gun plans and stuff like that. But it's kind of funny that all these guys thinks that they have, the answer for gun violence. I'm looking. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, they all want to shut down the NRA.
Yeah, so NRA is still the beaten bag of the Democrats.
Yeah.
I'm sort of okay with that.
Okay, let's talk about Elizabeth Warren and what she wants. Hey, what's up, Carmilla? Yeah, man, that is crazy. When are they voting on that? And in Connecticut, they want to have a 35% ammo tax.
That is outrageous. I mean, are they trying to do this whole sin tax thing again, or sin tax on ammo?
Basically. Well, okay, this is what Elizabeth Warren wants to do. She said she's gonna pass universal background checks, but not actually pass it. She's just gonna take an executive action to create universal background checks.
And I thought Elizabeth Warren dropped out. Is she still relevant? I thought.
Yeah. She wants to basically, if you buy more than one handgun, it gets reported. She wants to change that for rifles as well. She through executive action.
So her method is now, hey, since we can't get it past their Congress, we're just writing an executive order and just do it that way on everything.
Yeah, and she wants to make this has to be a typo because she wants to make the legal age for buying guns 18, to raise the age to 18. I don't know where you can buy a gun for the age of it. That has to be a typo.
Hey, I actually support her in that. Let's bring it down to 18.
Yeah. I don't understand the whole thing.
Yeah, once again, it just goes to show that on just how much they don't know or understand. A lot of people were giving them credits. Hey, these are politicians that I'm going to vote for them because they believe in this, And the point is, they know nothing about firearms. They don't even know the current laws or legislations that's on the books now. They're just running on a platform and
Well, a lobbyist tells them what to say. She also wants to start investigations of the NRA.
she wants to do what with NRA?
Investigate the NRA.
For what?
I don't know. I have no idea. Banned 3D printed guns and 80% lowers. Banned pistol braces.
And pistol braces.
Yeah, so is what she wants to do. Federal licensing for all firearms. Universal background checks. She wants to tax gun manufacturers. To 30% on guns and 50% on ammunition, which is crazy.
I would assume that there's some kind of no, there probably isn't. There's got to be something out there where you can't just so broadly and precisely tax just a simple thing like that. I mean, there's, from what I understand, manufacturer they would be paying a state tax, not a federal tax, right?
Yeah. That would be a federal tax, so 30% and 50%.
And if the federal government gets away with that, then certain states are like, well, they can, or federal tax 35%, so we're going to do a low tax at 20%. So next thing you know, you're getting taxed 55% on. That just goes up real. Hi, Roger.
Yeah. Well, like Carlos Bacon's saying, 35% tax in Connecticut, and that would go to like Moms Demand Action and other anti-gun groups, which is crazy. Let's go back to Pocahontas's thing. One handgun a month is another thing she wants to do. Federal assault weapons ban. Then regulate the rest that already in existence with the $200 tax stamp, and just like the NRA. Ban standard capacity magazines. Ban gun accessories, silencers, trigger cranks, and other mechanisms to make a semi-automatic weapon fire fully automatic. Bump stocks, basically. Red flag laws. The hate crime thing, which I already told you about, the anti-hate law. Yeah, so.
So after President Trump wins because he's running against a bunch of freaking idiots, what do you think on the House and Senate? Do you think the Republicans are going to be able to get them back?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they're going to flip it. But I just want to get to a couple more things here. Before, because this one's funny. She talks about how parents shouldn't have to buy bulletproof backpacks for the children. So she wants to expand gun-free zones to colleges. So it's kind of crazy, right?
Okay, so ban gun-free zones that obviously don't work to colleges. That way, parents don't have to buy bulletproof backpacks.
I didn't say it makes any sense, but yeah. Yeah, and let people sue gun manufacturers.
Hey, wasn't there a Supreme Court case on that?
There was a law that says you can't. There is a court. There's a court case that went through. I think it was Connecticut. Through the state court, and they allowed them to sue them in Connecticut, but that only applies to Connecticut, even though that runs afoul of the federal law. I'm sure, but the Supreme Court decided they didn't want to hear it, so there's nothing they can do. Oh, also, if you own a if you are an industry CEO, you have criminal liability. You will go to jail if someone uses the gun in like crime.
All right, so the very next person that has a child killed because someone was running from the police, they need to go ahead and. Hi.
Hello.
Did we get the time zones mixed up? Because if we did, that's fine.
I don't know. I've been awake and working on gun stuff for a very long time, so I'm not really sure what anything is right now. Did I get the wrong time?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You're not late.
Sorry.
So with Matt here
My bad.
We're talking. We're just going through all the Democrats' proposals for their gun stuff, and highlighting some of the ridiculous things, like Elizabeth Warren, who will hold gun manufacturer CEOs criminally responsible for gun crimes, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
How's this going?
Yeah, that's just another way of blaming somebody else, right? That's pretty much what it is. How's what? I'm sorry?
Texas going.
So Texas is keeping a very close eye on Virginia, and I think everything they're seeing there is inspiring people to action, which, hey, if something good can come from it, that's positive, I guess, for Texas. But we are gearing up for a major interim hearing tomorrow with the Senate State Affairs Committee, and we're going to show up in droves and promote constitutional carry and getting rid of gun-free zones. That's the plan.
What do you think the chances are of both of those happening?
So it's an interim hearing. The ledge isn't in session. There's not even a bill. They can't do it. This is really the Senate saying, okay, how much interest is there really? Like, do we need to seriously look at this? Or can we say, hey, we asked them about it and nobody showed up, so we can move on with life? And I think they really just want to move on with life, and they don't want people to show up, but we are going to probably have very good turnout tomorrow. We'll see. So what the chances are, I mean, it depends a lot on this year's elections. But Texas is at this really weird crossroads where we could either go very, very anti-gun and like flip blue, turn very, very anti-liberty, anti-gun, or we could, it's very legitimately possible, we could turn even more pro-gun. We could pass these bills. Like, that's realistic. It could happen.
Yeah, I mean, Texas is kind of interesting. Have you ever seen the movie Rocky Mountain Heist?
I haven't.
Well, basically, it talks about what Bloomberg did in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
An interesting thing is they said the next target was going to be Virginia, and then they
There
said,
you go. Yeah.
And it looks like it's playing out. So it's PragerU did the movie, and it was very well researched. It came out in like 2016.
Okay.
So it was a couple years ahead of the thing, and everyone back then, when it first came out, was like, "Oh yeah, that never happened."
Yeah, well, and so what bugs me a little bit is people are seeing the headlines right now of, oh, Bloomberg is coming to Texas with all his money, and they're contacting me like, oh, did you see Bloomberg's coming to Texas? He's already been working there. This isn't new. I mean, it's a renewed attack, maybe more vigor, but they've already been working there, laying groundwork. This isn't new.
No, I think a lot of it has to do with Bloomberg, what he did in Virginia. People in Texas are now realizing that he's there.
Right. They're like, oh crap, this is for real. We should pay attention to this. So, I mean, hey, whatever gets them to pay attention, that's fine. It would have been nice if they'd paid attention a couple years ago, but now is better than later.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous that he can come in there and just throw millions of dollars down, even though he had a Freudian slip today when he was talking about helping. Oh, did you see that?
No, I've been literally helping people prep for the hearing all day.
Well, he was talking about like helping, pitting people in Congress, helping put people in Congress that are Democrats, and he accidentally said something like buying. When I bought the seats or something like that.
Oh crap! Yeah, you just go to the store and get them because that's basically what they do. Mm-hmm.
But then he tried to correct himself really fast. It was hilarious.
Wow.
Like, well, you know what? Basically, that is exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Then Joe Biden also said that since 2007, there's been 150 million deaths due to guns.
Yeah, I saw that. Trying to figure out where that's coming from.
I have no idea. I think they just make up stuff.
Maybe math challenge. I mean, I get being math challenged, but I usually understand that I'm math challenged and I avoid quoting numbers that other people haven't checked.
Yeah.
So there's a suggestion.
You got to remember, this is the same guy that called a college student a dog-faced pony soldier, a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Wow. And people want this guy. Like they're picking this guy.
Well, obviously, not a lot of people are picking Biden.
True.
Yeah,
True story.
There
There are reasons.
A couple months ago, I thought Biden was going to be the leading candidate to run against Trump. The things that he's been saying here over the last couple of weeks, it's like, let's see who else can come up. No.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders is another person that's kind of scary with all his stuff. But yeah. So you think Texas is going to stay red and pro-gun, or?
You know, I really feel like we're at this place where it's hard to predict. Like we are just on this, like on the fence, sort of. I can't think of a good metaphor, but literally it could tip. We're the spinning top, and we don't know which side the top. Like eventually, it's gonna quit spinning and land on one side or the other and tilt over. I don't know. Like a lot is in motion right now, and like we have our primaries in a week. Actually, yeah, a week from today is the final primary election. We have early voting going on now. So then we'll at least know who our Republican candidates are, unless they have to go to a runoff. It's going to be November until we see who our next legislature is.
Yeah.
So do you think what happened here in Virginia has woken up a lot of Texans to fight it before it happens?
Oh my gosh, yes. It is amazing. It is remarkable the difference I'm seeing in people. I think it literally took them seeing that in front of their eyes. And then they're like, oh, see, Virginia went to their capital, had a lobby day. I'm like, that wasn't the first time they ever did that. You know that, right? And also, we do stuff like this at the Capitol that you could be joining us in. It's like this novel idea. They're like, oh, the gun control happened, therefore they went to the Capitol and had a rally. I'm like, let's do stuff now.
Like almost every state does that.
I know, right? I mean, Virginia does, VCDL does that every year, right?
Yeah, every year. Kentucky have a lobby day, West Virginia have a lobby day, Tennessee have a lobby day. Almost every state has a lobby day.
Yeah, we've done lobby days before. We've done multiple ones.
Yeah, so the Virginia one was a lot bigger than it usually.
Sure, right. Understandably.
Just a little.
Do you know the final number of how many people showed up to that?
They're saying the papers are reporting 22,000, but I'm not sure if that's a hard number or not.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that it's more.
Wow.
I FOIA'd on the drone footage,
Yeah.
pictures, so I can try to figure it out by putting in some type of software.
Mm-hmm.
The number comes from the government, the Virginia government.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you.
I'm guessing it's somewhere around 60,000 people because the software that they used, they were looking at just what was on the Capitol ground and the block in front of them. They weren't going down the blocks away, and they weren't one block away.
Oh yeah, what they did is they did the surrounding streets and the Capitol grounds.
Yeah.
Where when we were there, it went back a few blocks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. People came in. Like, I know a significant number of people who came from Texas.
Yeah, there was at least 3 buses from Texas that came.
Yeah, and I know of individuals who drove there in their own personal vehicles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was a carload who drove from El Paso. I mean, like, just for perspective, El Paso is like at least a 10-hour drive from our capital, like, which is in Central Texas. So you have to get all the way from West Texas, like 12 hours, or 10 or 12 hours to get to the middle of Texas, and then you got to get all the way up to Virginia.
Yeah, that's crazy. Somebody I saw drove from California, and somebody else drove from Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
And someone flew in from Hawaii too, which was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, Tim Knight was there. He flew in to Tim Knight used to be he's an ex-NRA board member. He came in. It was really good seeing a lot of people, and a lot of people that were going to SHOT actually showed up, and they just jumped on a red eye from Richmond to Vegas.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it was great. I just wish we had a more solid number, because like Matt was saying, the software that they used only consisted of the Capitol grounds itself and the adjacent streets, and didn't take how far back the crowd was going, which was like a few blocks back at least.
So let me ask you this. I've been curious. How are people, like, how good are they about now staying engaged? I mean, they showed up to the rally. That's good. We want them to do that. Are they still staying engaged, showing up, contacting legislators, making a difference every day?
Incredibly engaged.
Good.
I
That's awesome.
haven't really seen any drop off.
Good.
Which is crazy, because that's one thing I was scared of, that everyone's to lobby day and just like fade away. But it's not. It's incredible, and I think that they might have cost the Democratic nominee Virginia in the election in November.
Wow.
If you look at the polls, the Trump polls, he was getting crushed before the last election, and then when they were proposing all these bills and everyone woke up, now it's like a dead heat.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think
that might have been an unintended consequence.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Well, good for Virginia.
Yeah. So hopefully that will show them. If Trump wins the election in Virginia, that it's going to send a clear message to people in the Virginia legislature.
Yeah, and the Texas legislature, and like literally the whole U.S. Be careful, Bloomberg, what you do, because you might cost the DNC.
Yeah, I don't think Bloomberg's going to get the nomination because he had another terrible. He can't debate.
Got money. I mean, he bought how many seats in the House already?
Right.
Yeah,
he already bought Virginia 6 point what? Now, originally I was hearing numbers around 2.5 million. What Bloomberg spent on the election. Did he spend more than that?
So far in the national election, he spent $500 million on ads. All going to be for naught, hopefully.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, money will get you pretty far, but it's got its limits.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Rachel.
Yeah.
You think the time of the pro-gun Democrat is over, where you're not going to be able to get elected to office if you're a pro-gun Democrat.
I'd say it's greatly reduced. The reason I hesitate to say it's over is it has a lot to do with the Valley area in Texas. So that's like our southernmost tip. Um, the borders Mexico, like Hidalgo, that whole area, Cameron, Hidalgo County, Cameron County, McAllen area, Edinburgh, Brownsville. So all of that area, and even stretching all along the Mexico border, it's culturally Democrats, but it's also culturally conservative. So they're used to electing people on the blue side, on the Democratic ticket, but they have a lot of family values that are traditionally conservative and traditionally seen as Republican, and so they kind of expect their elected officials to follow those values, and the elected officials sometimes do. So yeah, we have some super liberal anti-gun people from down there, or maybe they own guns but they have a very elitist mindset. But we also have some folks in that area who they're Democrat, and yeah, it shows in their policies, but they may not really be super anti-gun. Like, they're going to go along with their side sometimes, but you can also sometimes get them along on this side. So that's the one exception that I'm seeing here in Texas. I don't know if that also is dying out, it just takes longer, or if that's going to stay. Or if maybe some of the Valley area, it actually could flip Republican to where they realize, okay, we're not culturally obligated to vote for a D. It's okay to vote R. Nobody's going to strike us down dead, because this actually lines up more with our values. So some changes could be happening there.
Yeah. So GOA, one of the things that we are pushing, and you're part of GOA too, is Second Amendment sanctuary ordinances and stuff like that. Do you have a big 2A sanctuary movement going down in Texas, or not really?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's stretching all over the state. The first state to pass, or sorry, the first county to pass it, they passed a pretty legit ordinance. Not just the few words of a resolution of, hey, we support the Second Amendment, but they passed something pretty legit. It was a fully Democrat commissioners court. So the county judge and 4 county commissioners, all Democrat, all along the border, unanimous vote.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Matt has to get out of here. His son's gonna die, so
Okay.
bye to Matt. Matt,
See ya.
All right, thanks. Thanks for letting me come on, and nice meeting y'all. Good work in Texas. Keep it up. I'll be keep my fingers crossed, and I know some people down there. They're right there at your side, so my fingers crossed for y'all. I'm glad that you got me woken up.
Thank you.
all right, bye, Matt.
Bye bye.
All right, that was Matt Death Cowboy. He is the producer on the show, but he has to go to bed because he's a college student now. He went back to school for electrical engineering.
Nice.
Yeah. In Texas, so you do have some Second Amendment stuff going on in Texas with ordinances. That's really cool to hear that it is Democrats, because I don't think we have any Democrats that actually voted for a Second Amendment sanctuary in Virginia. It's all been Republicans.
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority has been a more partisan vote. That was definitely a one-off, but I think it shows that that mindset exists. I mean, they all got up, and literally the commissioners and the judge were excited about it. Nobody was going and forcing them and threatening them to do it. Like, they wanted to because they were scared of their guns getting taken away.
Yeah. That is.
I mean, so that, like, they live on the border and they get it. They see every day that there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of danger, their families are in danger. They count on their guns to protect them. Like, it's very, very real to them. They're not these urban people who when you live in an urban area, it's easier to think that, oh, the police are going to be there, or somebody else is going to take care of me. You can run to the store 3 minutes away for anything you want, or have it Ubered to you, or anything. When you live in the very rural, very spread out West Texas area, very close to the border, you might, be able to walk 3 hours away to get service to call the cops or border patrol who are still hours away. That's their reality.
Yeah,
To begin.
I saw a documentary where they were talking about a rancher that lived on the border,
Mhm.
and his thing was cartels were cutting across his land,
Oh yeah.
and that's why he needed guns to protect himself, because he never knows if he's going to run into cartels members out there smuggling
Yeah,
drugs.
for sure. Yeah, and that's not a one-off either. That's kind of an expected thing. Like, you have to protect your property and protect your land, which is your livelihood when you live there.
Yeah, that's just scary to me, living in Virginia, where you really don't have that problem.
Yeah.
So that is scary. There is a lot of laws going on, a lot of proposed laws by the Democratic candidates that deal with border states.
Yeah.
And what was it? Elizabeth Warren has something where she wants to have additional reporting of gun sales along the border, in addition to.
Like, what good is that going to do?
Well,
Like, what is she really going to get from that?
well, that's my question to you. What do you think?
I mean, it's all just another either attempt at a gun registry or attempt at looking like you're doing something or an attempt at gathering information. It's not anything that's going to be helpful. Like so what kind of reporting are we talking about? Are we talking about literally a gun registry? Are we talking about self-reporting, like, hey, everybody come and register your gun? Because that's really going to go over well with gun owners. And I'm sure all the all the illegals and all the criminals are going to be really happy to do that also, right? I mean, what are we even talking about? Or are we saying, okay, all the gun stores and the FFL dealers who sell guns now have to actually really report real records to the ATF? Not that we thought they weren't already able to get the records, but now they're going to just make it easier. I mean, what
Well,
there's
it was directed at gun dealers, but
yeah.
it wasn't really too clear what the additional reporting was.
Well, and that's so normal. That's so normal for it not to be clear, because they say something and all their followers jump on it like, "Oh my gosh, our savior just solved our problem. Like, this must be the Messiah here because she has an answer to the problem." Kind of like AOC's answers to the problems. That you're like, do those words even go together in the same sentence?
Yeah, she also wants to tax ammunition manufacturers at a 50% rate on all ammo sold, and an extra 35% on all firearms sold.
Yeah, that's going to go over really well. The funny thing though is, um, there's one story I can tell you that's really mixed up. So a lot of our reps, a lot of our even our anti-gun reps, especially the ones on the border, even though they're very anti-gun for the people, because they're elitist, some of those are the ones who own the most firearms. Like, they brag about how many hundreds of firearms they own and so many NFA items. Um, so they still want to be able to own plenty of guns, and they don't want to have to pay all these taxes on them, right? So they're not going to do stuff like that. But they will do gun control for the regular people, because you have to be really special people to be trusted and safe with guns. And just a side note, one of them recently was found with apparently kind of large quantities of cocaine that he may or may not have been possibly bringing in from Mexico, because his ranch borders Mexico. And he also is a part of a bill that put state funds towards building a road on his property, supposedly for Border Patrol, but we're not really sure now.
Yeah, it's probably because they're running drugs.
So yeah, he's not running again.
Yeah, there was that really anti-gun legislator out in like LA who was busted
Yes.
on
Yes.
gun charges.
Senator Yee?
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That happens. That literally happens. The anti-gun people get busted for, trafficking the guns illegally.
Well, what I think is that they are for all these gun laws because they view that as competition.
Yeah. It's that elitist mindset.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't get it. Look at Bloomberg, man. He has armed guards around him 24/7.
Yeah. Right?
And
But he's a special person, and I'm sure they're very well trained and certified by the government. Therefore, they can have guns. But the common people, the commoners, oh my gosh, the peasants cannot be trusted. That's really the attitude. We're the
they
peasants.
treat them as plebes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it is freaking ridiculous. But yeah, it really pisses me off. I know Bernie Sanders and Warren both also want to ban AR-15s and semi-automatic rifles. But if you have them, you can keep them. But they want to add them to the NFA, and you have to pay a $200 tax stamp on each one.
Wow. Does that mean they already own these and they want the value pre-ban to go up a whole lot, maybe?
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
can't transfer it. You just have to pay the $200 to be able to keep it. And what I'm telling
Okay.
you is, I have over 100 ARs. I'm not sure. Last count was like 110 or something. So
Cool.
I'll be paying at least $200,000 if I want to keep my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, and again, it's what good is that actually going to do? Like there's no way that's going to help keep anybody safe. It just perpetuates and helps government control. That's
Yeah.
what it's doing.
I think gun registrations, good, like universal background checks always lead to a gun registration, which always leads to gun
Oh yeah.
confiscations. Another thing that I have an issue with is Bloomberg saying that he wants to ban any guns that hold more than 3 rounds, which is every gun basically on the market.
More than 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Because 2 is safe, maybe 3 is safe, but 4, oh my gosh. It's going to explode.
He said if you need more than 3 rounds, you're a really terrible shot.
So are cops and military going to carry only 3 rounds? Because that's safer, right? Because all they need is 3.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It really, really makes me mad about some of this. Texas, you're in a little bit better shape than we are, but I can still see it going either way with you guys.
Yeah.
Texas has really become purplish recently.
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, our okay, so supposedly everything's controlled Republican, right? So we have an R, uh, all of our statewide officials are R. Governor, lieutenant governor, everybody. The Senate, the state Senate and the state House are both Republican majorities and have been for quite some time. But still, like, they're pushing way too much gun control. The governor said, hey, we need to do red flag laws. We need to make sure they have due process, but you can't have a red flag law with due process. Like, that literally is no due process. And then the lieutenant governor, who's supposed to be this great conservative guy, people bought into that when they elected him. Well, he's out there calling for expanded background checks. So that's what we're dealing with a Republican-controlled government.
Yeah, one thing that whenever they say expanded background checks, a lot of times they don't really explain it. They always say, "Oh, mental health," or something like that. But
Well,
they don't
so
explain
yeah,
it.
so our lieutenant governor was brilliant. He decided that we weren't going to have expanded background checks for family and friends, only required for stranger to stranger sales. So tell me, how do you define a stranger? Like, so you and I haven't met face to face before, right? So if we just met face to face for a gun sale, does that mean it's a stranger to stranger? But maybe the guy I work next to in a cubicle every day, and I have for a year, never talked to him. He's kind of weird, but whatever. But we know each other, so that's not a stranger. Like, how do you even define that?
Well, they don't define it, and I think that's on
I
purpose.
know. That's like the stupid and again, like you were saying before, it's the vague law or vague proposal that's made to sound good because everybody bought into it. Not everybody, but a lot of people did. They're like, "Oh, that's right. Why would you want to sell a gun to a stranger without knowing who they are?" And I'm like, "Okay, take a step back. It's a gun registry and it's going to end up being universal if you go with it because how do you define that? Like, you just don't."
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and
Yeah,
I think that's the whole entire purpose. A
of
lot of
course.
the people, they don't actually believe in what they're pushing. It's just
Mm-mm.
they're pushing it for optics.
Mhm.
You politics, it's a big thing, the theater of politics, and it's true.
Yeah.
There is a big theater of politics where people push things that they know will not pass, and they know it's a waste of time, but yet they are pushing it because they want to look good to the constituents.
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure.
impeachment. There's no way that Trump was going to get convicted in the Senate, but they pushed the impeachment anyway, and that was basically a show.
They can take it back to their constituents and be like, "See, I did the thing. I tried to impeach Trump. I did my job."
Yeah, but
Mhm.
it's a whole thing. Elizabeth Warren says she's going to do most of her stuff through executive action, and she's going to launch an investigation into the NRA.
Well, I mean,
NRA.
not saying that's necessary. I don't know if I should comment on that. Wow, there's a lot to get into there, but
there is, but they're targeting the NRA, and when you run to shut down a private organization, that's kind of
yeah, no, exactly. If that's the talking points there, that's a little off.
All right, Rachel, I don't want to keep you on too long. I know you have a hearing tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Sorry, I got mixed up on the times.
Yeah,
a little bit off today, but it was fun to come on.
It happens. All right, I will let you go. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that was Rachel Malone. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I've been on for a little bit over an hour. I just wanted to say tomorrow I got a candidate for Congress coming out of Texas, and he will. Oh, my little stool is here. Oh, and the candidate for Congress is going to be talking to us about his view on the Second Amendment and everything else. So we will see. How that goes. Also on Friday, I'll be on Hank Strange's show. And next Monday, I will be on Guns and Gadgets with Jared. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. We have some exciting stuff coming up. And that is it for me. And if you're in Fauquier County, come up and say hi on Saturday. I'll be there speaking at a 2A rally. And that is it. I'm going to let you guys go. All right. Thank you, Matt Dust Cowboy, for jumping in. Thank you for John Voorhees, Kermit Loves Bacon, Roger, Todd, and everyone else who watched out there. And a special thank you to my Patreons, Gary as well, and everyone else. And I will see you guys later. And have fun. And don't forget to